My name is Antons. I am a CEO and founder of small Latvian company, Scandiweb, delivering for large companies like Walmart, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lamborghini, and so on. I was informed that it's not a usual conference time, 9:30. So, let's look at this graph. This is a cumulative ICO funding to date. And it just breaks record after record. July was more than June, June more than May, and so on and so on. As I described in the introduction, we will not judge, is it a bubble, is it a Ponzi? We will describe what is it in hard terms, in technical terms. So my presentation will be in 4 parts. First, it will be origins. What are the origins? Because as smart people tell that if you understand certain relationships, at least 3, you don't need to know 100 facts. So we will look into underlying technologies that made flourishing of ICOs possible. Then we look at the businesses that you can build on this platform that recently appeared. Then we'll of course look into much popular topic of legal compliances of the businesses that you are building. And finally, in the technology that you might need to actually get the money. First, about origins. And that's for me the hardest part of this presentation. So the first question would be, how would you describe tokens and smart contracts on Ethereum blockchain to a person who doesn't know what is it?
Like shares.
Like shares. Like shares that you can issue within an hour, right? Because it's about an hour that you need to copy OpenZeppelin framework for ERC20 token, change the name of the token, compile it, and deploy. You pay 50 cents approximately for gas. And you might have 1 billion of shares. And you can put 1 share, $1. You're a billionaire in the blockchain. Your own billionaire. So, the origin. Currently, the concept that blockchain, the virtues of good blockchain, that it's public, it's immutable, it's decentralized, nobody can shut it down, there is no master records, everything is synchronized. People started to understand and appreciate that within the years that Bitcoin has been around there. And then Ethereum introduced Turing complete language, Solidity, that you can deploy right kind of below this, the address. So Bitcoin was simple transfer of funds. In Ethereum, you can actually transfer or send a message, and then you can do something. So you can actually make a purchase within blockchain. Before, you could only make purchase out kind of for these Bitcoins somewhere out, but now you set Ether and you become an owner of a digital asset that is token. And it's say for me, that's a pivotal origin. Because the same as TCP/IP pretty much paved the way for an entire internet. As simple things as TCP/IP and like World Wide Web and browser paved the way for everything we are using right now. The same, these very simple touch things, like they call it mapping in Solidity or array in any programming language, allows something that is worth $1.5 billion. So it's an array in blockchain that just holds your address, your public key, and the number of something that you have bought. Another user. The public key, your address, and amount of something. And this something, thanks to ERC20 standard, you can easily transfer, so it becomes tradable. So you can kind of do business in the blockchain. You send cryptocurrency, you get digital asset, and then you can trade it for more or for less, whatever. You can make profit or loss. It's basically the same as in casino. They sell you tokens for $100, maybe for $500. So the same now you can buy in blockchain. And it's up to you how you call it, $100 token or $500 token. So if we speak about business on tokens, they differ in terms of is it on-chain or off-chain business. Off-chain tokenization, that's for example casino in Las Vegas. Another example is ICO of Polybius Bank. It's also off-chain. They build a bank. They need money for pay for license, for everything. So they tell, okay, we need something from 2.5 million to 25. And we make a commitment on our website that we will send 20% of our earnings to the owners of these tokens. And we think about on-chain services, that for example storage. They understand there are many miners, there are many people who are like passive miners, so why not use their storage resources or say capacity resources, processing capacity. So why people would pay to Amazon if they can use decentralized storage, because it's kind of anonymous and they cannot shut down your server. It's very good. And they tell, no, we need some money to build the platform, so we issue tokens, maybe 1 million for $2 each. And then our platform will only accept the tokens as a means of payment. Nobody will be ever able to pay us in fiat. They have to go to exchange and exchange their fiat for our tokens. So then we expect that price of our tokens will grow if our platform will be successful. So it's both for on-chain businesses and off-chain. And then if you want to present your idea to investors, and you have to mention, is your token utility token or security token? Well, another example from publica.io, we allow authors to issue their small ICOs for their books, not for themselves, not like token stars, not for a tennis player or some other form of celebrity, maybe Instagram model. But it's an author, and he tells, well, here is a book, not me, here is a book. And I tokenize intellectual property rights for these books. So I issue maybe 100 tokens, each represents 1%. So if eventually my book will be purchased by some Hollywood movie studio and translated to 20 languages worldwide, and I will get 5 million, then I make he makes a contract with a platform that he is legally kind of obliged to transfer certain amount of his earnings to smart contract that will distribute the money. Well, smart contract will not distribute, it will make money available for the people who own the tokens. That's a security token, because you cannot kind of go and utilize this IP token somewhere. You cannot pay with it. You can only get potential income stream on the effort of others. So that's a characteristic for security. The bottom line for the business, and then we move further, is that with tokens you can tokenize and bring liquidity to anything. You can tokenize conference, you can tokenize real estate, you can tokenize books, ownership of books. You can make anything available by fractions. So if we have a painting, some famous painting for $5 million, you can cut it in 1,000 pieces virtually and tell that now you own 1 square millimeter. This token represents ownership of 1 square millimeter of this painting. So you can become an owner of the painting, well, small. We have darts, car dealer, well, car maker in Latvia. They sell it to Kim Kardashian for $1 or a few million. And I suggested them, Leonard, you have very nice cars, very famous. So we can tokenize them together with business plan. So we tell to people, well, you just pay $10 for a token, we raise 2 million, you build a car and you move it to Miami in some VIP rentals. And then people will be happy because, well, they will be the owners of legendary car, one and only, with their name or their public address written somewhere there, and they will have some perks of coming there and taking it out. Yeah, that's a time sharing on blockchain. You can tokenize access to Villa. Okay, I would be happy to answer one question about business, or hear some business idea, and then I'll move on.
I think interesting business idea of tokens can be tokenization of development of new drugs. For example, clinical trials. Because there is, for example, 3 stages of clinical trials, and till the first stage, new drug almost has no value. Of course, it's patented, but there is a high risk that the drug won't pass the clinical trial. But the investment is rather high. Usually, all clinical trials amount to around $100 million.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, quite interesting. Tokenization.
Yeah, that's an amazing illustration, because it shows exactly how blockchain and smart contracts and ICOs and tokens can disrupt a business that is massively owned by kind of conglomerates that can afford spending $100 million. But in 2 hours, and there are some precedents when people were raising $24 million in 30 seconds. If you have enough reputation to tell communities that, well, your plan for new drug development is legit, then you might get this money. And it might take you a few hours. Okay, thank you very much. I hope I can take this as done. Business process is very simple. I will not spend much time on that. It's very online, very technological. You can just Google, well, you don't need even Google, they are popping around. If you're interested in cryptocurrency, your Facebook feed is full with ICOs. So you know how their landing page look like, how the counters work, their team and advisors, also known as celebrity endorsement. And here are the approximate prices. And 40, 40, 20, that's some ICOs that I have known some insider information. 20% are simple retail investors, so are guys like investing $2,000 to euro, and 40 are wealthy individuals, crypto multimillionaires, and another 40 are investment funds, because there are already an array of investment funds who specialize only in crypto investments, in cryptocurrency and in ICOs. So business process, there is, I mean, once you understand the tokenization, you can figure out business process. Legal, that's kind of probably the most popular topic in discussion of ICOs, because there is no written legal, well, paper except some cantons in Swiss and something in Singapore that would actually tell how they understand tokenization and utility tokens, and is it a taxable event when you collect this money or not. But let's start with simple things. Imagine you got your 100 million or 10 million or whatever is your goal for the eternity, and then you have to figure out how to move it to fiat, because you need to pay in usual euro or dollars. Normally, it's a part of legal setup that normally for large ICOs, professional teams are invited, because it goes together with legal compliance and legal structure, because they can present a legitimate case for the bank, and also they create all necessary disclaimers for KYC and anti-money laundering regulations. So the bank can actually legitimately open your account. And for some particular ICOs, there are banks in Mongolia who specialize on some particular cases. And if you do something that resembles security, and in general you have a personal liability, because whatever that, for example, with drugs, with new drug, it depends how you frame it. If you tell, well, we want to make a drug, we need 100 million, and then you fund us now, and we will share our revenue with you, well, our profit with you, it will be clearly security. If you tell, well, we want to make a drug, and you can buy it now, just for $1. It's like a gift card, kind of, or pre-sale of a new iPhone. It's not yet there, but you can already pay $100 for that, yeah. So and now it will become like utility token, because these people will not get perpetual income streams. They can just use it once, but it still will be interesting from a speculative point of view, because maybe this drug will be very successful, and company, and you tell that, well, we will not accept fiat money until we get at least 90% of tokens back. So anybody who wants to get this drug would have to go to exchange and tell, well, please sell me 1 token of this X drug. So hopefully price will go up. In US, there are some like anecdotes. I know few ICOs. We have built a technological platform, one being Tear, and they raised about 25 million. Executives and all the staff participating in ICO is leaving territory of United States. United States doesn't have a law that it's forbidden to do it, and they do utility tokens. But they're so afraid of potential legislation and potential conflicts that they prefer to tell that, well, we haven't done it in US. We have done it somewhere. Here are our tickets, here are IPs. They even do, well, they have compiled smart contract in US, but they deployed it from Cayman Islands. So there is also, yeah, so it's many. And here are the most popular jurisdictions. First will be Singapore and Switzerland. Some people just do it in offshore. Well, in general, on Swiss level, they agreed, yes, that it's a regulatory activity, should be licensed and regulated. However, their legislation allow on a canton level to tell that it's okay. So there is one particular canton of Zug that wants to be, they call themselves Crypto Valley, like Silicon Valley, Crypto Valley, and they accepted that. And they specifically issue an approval that your activities and operations are legitimate. And MME.ch, they are kind of lawmakers in that respect. So they work kind of hand in hand with legislators in this canton. They are relatively expensive. They take about 2-3 months to prepare your legal case and go to regulators and approve it. But they have done it before, and then you are, well, you still have to be very cautious, because if you would, and they explicitly tell, if in your company are Americans, we don't work with you, sorry.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You have to go through regulation there.
Yeah, but it's just 2-3 months.
One hour and that's it, and then.
Yeah, but it's just 2-3 months. If you want to make IPOs, it's 1 year, 1.5, and you like pay still much more, 20 times more. Basically, you only approve, they don't look into your company, your profitability, your revenue. You can be just one person company in general, or 2, 3, 4, and you just need to get an approval for a particular token generation event, as they call it, to avoid IPO ICO analogy. So yeah, you can go without. I personally know some people who did it without, and they are still fine.
For now.
Yeah. However, this type of activity does not have, say, it can be after 5 years. Security Commission can, you might get on their radar after 5 years, and then hopefully you have a pile of papers that tells it. So there are a lot of controversy in terms of should you sell to United States citizens or you should not. But technology. I think I'll cover potential hack techniques in UICO. The most simple, just to start with, is what we also have experienced, is that they would try to DDoS your site and then go to your social channels, Telegram, and tell, hey, our ICO is so successful, we are down. So please go to our mirror site. And then there is your domain /tokensaleoico.com and copy of your site, and they just put some of their addresses of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and some people send money. In our case, it was $30,000. And when you contact registrar and hoster, they were in Russia, they tell, well, we need the court decision to shut them down. Because apparently they don't, like you don't have a trademark and for this particular name. So they can have the same domain as you, and like, but it's really targeted at people who do not understand anything, because you cannot, because the part that I try to explain here is that if you would send a Bitcoin to some address, how they can assign you tokens? Can somebody explain? They tell, hey, welcome to our ICO, please send your Bitcoin to this address. I sent 1 Bitcoin. How can I get tokens? By email. That's probably what these people think, is that, oh, there will be some way they will send me an email. Because tokens exist only on Ethereum network. If you send Bitcoin and you send 10 Bitcoins, it can be from different addresses in your wallet that have some unspent outputs. And how will they know your Ethereum address? Wait, absolutely. So, and then another interesting hack is that you write a smart contract to collect funds. It's audited, customer is happy. The customer tells, okay, give me binary. I will deploy it because customer wants to be an owner of contract, so only customer can withdraw funds. And then you make some changes in contract, make a binary, the customer of course doesn't understand, and send it over. and then customer deploys it happily, people send money, and then customer cannot access it. Only you can access, because this code has been changed. And okay, I mean, contract binary is like if you open executable file in viewer. So you only need to trust it. So there are some techniques how to avoid that. Well, first of all, some customers would do compiling themselves, or they would ask auditors also to audit the file, or they would ask you to expose in Etherscan the code that would match the binary that blockchain has got. If you generate unique Bitcoin addresses for each customer, so you can map your MySQL database with blockchain, your XPub can be compromised. So all the Bitcoin addresses that you would generate would actually belong to a hacker. So your ICO is very successful, but only hacker can get money. And well, for me, the most interesting was that everything can be successful. You got your money, everybody paid, nobody has hacked you. But you store the beneficiary Ethereum addresses in your MySQL database. Because they might send from one address, but they want their tokens to be on another, and then this database is just dropped or corrupted. So you really have no idea who are your beneficiaries. And it's very interesting feeling. In this room, actually, there are two developers who have been participating in that. Is that once you start to develop something on blockchain, you feel that once you are within blockchain, everything is so nice and secure and reliable. When you try to mix it with web, you start hating web, because everything can be compromised. Everything.
You said your company has done several ICOs already, and so Publica is our latest one?
Public is our own. We have done ICO for Ethereum, and two others are in progress. One is for something that is like Pokemon Go for advertising, some digital virtual products, and another one is for in-game purchases. And Publica is a platform for traditional publishing, not like Steam or some platforms that want to monetize your likes or interest in your content. It's for traditional authors and the ecosystem. Because now author, if you would go to a publisher, they leave you from 8% to 15%, and then they do centrally everything, like editor, proofreading, cover artist, marketing, printing, with tokenization and transparency of blockchain. Because the industry is very close in terms of data. Amazon doesn't tell you exactly how many views or readers your book had. But when we bring this transparency and trust, we can disintermediate this industry, we can decentralize it, so the author can contract directly with the ecosystem that is likely to emerge and procure necessary services for book packaging. So they can deal directly and efficiently with editor, with cover artist, with marketer, sharing with them their intellectual property rights in a kind of very fast fashion through assignment of token to this particular person. And as a first step, we will do like a Kickstarter for ebooks, because in Kickstarter there are actually about 100 million revenue that was collected for publishing industry. And but it's hard to do for ebooks, because you have to have a platform that enforces delivery. So we'll make an e-reader, and we will allow authors to make their small ICOs. Basically, if it's a good author or good idea, hopefully, so with publishers, they make subjective decision. And sometimes it's very good, sometimes not so good. Some masterpieces have reached us after rejection from 20 or 30 publishers, even like Harry Potter. And in our case, it's community. They either will vote with their money or they will not. And if they vote, then author got enough funds to write the book. And the author still retains creative freedom and ownership of their intellectual property rights. Not like with publishers. Publishers, they give you in advance. It's advance. So when book starts earning, they will not pay you until it has earned as much as they have already paid you. So it's an alternative. We don't know how it goes, but we are committed to explore how will it go. That's about public.
You mentioned problems with getting to fiat currency, basically anti-money laundering laws, client problems. So how can you solve them? Because it is kind of anonymous, right? Anonymous.
Solution is usually very simple. If you sell something similar to security, like Polybius, then you just create a customer portal, and then you ask your users to upload a copy of passport, just like PayPal. And then you also introduce some limits, or you can leave them if it's in US it's so-called accredited investor if their earnings are more than $200,000 or $300,000 per year, or their net worth is more than 1 million. And then you can legitimately sell them also securities.
Last question. Yeah, you have mentioned about the Steam project and the idea of the Steam project is clear about the share likes. Yeah, but if I will join your ICO, my first question will be, what the benefits I will get as a token holder?
Yeah. Well, we have two white papers. One is in general on the concept introduction, and another is explicitly on PBL token, as we call it, economy. So what will happen with PBL exchange rate? And when you want to figure it out, you pretty much imagine that Publica is a separate country, well, like Thailand. You go there, you want to buy something, you will always buy Thai bahts. And whatever is there is priced in Thai bahts. So whatever Publica will offer will be priced in PBL. If you want to buy a read access token to a book that is likely to be created, it will be priced in PBL. If you want to buy rights, it will be priced in PBL. And PBL, unlike traditional currencies, PBL supply is locked. You cannot print or you cannot create more. It's just locked in smart contract. And the amount of people who will have short-term holdings of PBL is likely to increase, because some PBLs will be locked in author escrow. It will be released when they will deliver first, part second, third. So what we have that amount of PBLs in circulation, if we look from here, will decrease, will be steadily decreasing, under assumption that platform is successful. However, demand for it is likely, like demand curve is like this. So it will shift to the right, because people will need more and more of PBL tokens. And if you just look at the shifts of supply and demand curve, it's pretty clear that exchange rate will be under growing pressure. So that happens in real world economies as well. And then banks pretty much change the central bank lending percentage, or they borrow, or they lend. But like we cannot do it. So we have much more simpler economy. A simpler economy is that kind of exports more than it imports. We're importing books from authors, and then we are selling them. And we are leaving certain percentage to us, say 15%. So it means that we always we export more than we import. And under that assumption, the exchange rate for PBL token is likely to grow.
So, Anton, thank you.
Thank you, guys.